Okay, let's go ahead and find a seated position. Come to our mats, come to our space. Maybe start to close the eyes and lengthen the spine. If you're here with me now, this is our root chakra, first of the chakra series, yoga flow. And I wore all of my deep reds today for you guys to signify the root chakra. So as you come to your seat, notice the space that you're sitting on. Notice how the body connects with the ground. And begin to close the eyes. Begin to visualize the color red. You can visualize a bright red or a deep red, whatever comes to the forefront of your brain. So since we're beginning this series, the Chakra Series, let's just make sure my music is doing okay. I think it's a little loud, to be honest with you. But since we're doing this Chakra Series, I just want to touch a little bit on what the chakra energetic center is. So there are a few of them throughout the body, and basically the first one is the root chakra. It starts between the sits bone and the pubic bone, and it's an energetic center, right? So it's not a physical space, it's an energetic space. And as you begin to listen to all of this information, just take a deep breath in. So the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra, as you're visualizing red, is the kind of like it sounds, root of our entire chakra system. So it has to do with our safety, our security. It has to do with how grounded we are and connected we are to the earth and to ourselves. And it kind of is the basis, the baseline for all the rest of the chakras. If you feel grounded, then you are able to ignite and align the rest of the chakras. So with that, knowing what this whole entire class is going to be focused on, we're really going to tap into grounding. We're going to tap into feeling safe and secure in our bodies. We're going to tap into the feeling of connection with ourselves and with the earth. So even if you're not on exact earth, you are grounded down to some point here on your mat. So focus on that grounding idea and that connection to the earth as we continue through class. And we'll start with our cross-legged seated position here. We'll notice the space between the pubic bone and the sits bone, kind of that center point of our seat. We'll take a long, deep breath in and a slow, gentle exhale out the mouth. We'll continue that slow, full breath pattern. Breathing in through the belly and the ribs, maybe the chest. And breathing out through the mouth, waterfalling the breath over our throat. And I'd like for this class to set an intention to our sacred space. So as we think about all the qualities of this root chakra, I want you to take in your space and time as a sacred place. This is your space to be safe and secure in your body, to feel rooted and grounded down toward your mat. This is a place to explore and just really feel what it feels like to be heavy but also light at the same time, pushing out of our mat. And that's kind of an idea we'll play with today as well. As we feel into breath and into our seat, again, come back to that deep or bright red color. And then we can begin to open up the eyes. On an inhale, we'll just reach our arms out to the side, sweep them up above the head, rise up through the spine, nice and tall. On an exhale, we'll float the hands down toward the mat. Take a few rounds of that, matching your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Third one. This time, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, float the hands down behind your back, behind your seat, and just push the chest up a little bit. Take a breath like that, and then exhale, fold down over the knees, just for the exhale. And then on your inhale, come back up. We'll do a few rounds of that. Fold down over the knees. Inhale, roll back up. From here, we'll begin to reach the arms up overhead. Inhale. This time, exhale, twist toward the right, letting the left fingertips reach toward the knee. And take a nice gentle twist while the right fingertips reach toward the floor behind us. Feeling the difference in how the breath moves through the body in a twisted position. And on your next inhale, we'll reach out back to center, arms overhead. And we'll take it right to the other side, twisting toward the left. Left hand reaches behind us, right hand onto the knee. Filling up the body with air. Feeling rooted into our seat, pushing up and out. Nice, straight, tall spine. And then on our next inhale, we'll reach up again. This time, folding all the way forward, hands reach down, and then walk the fingertips forward over the knees. Bow the head down toward the mat. It doesn't have to reach all the way. Just go to whatever extent your body lets you. And just elongate the spine here and ground that sit bone down. Feeling connection to the mat, connection to the earth. And if you'd like to bring a mantra into today's class, maybe an affirmation, repeat this whenever you feel your mind wandering. I am safe, I am secure. I am safe, I am secure. And then on an inhale, we'll walk the fingertips back toward the knees, pushing the upper body up. Take one cleansing breath, and then we'll come onto our hands and knees in a cat-cow position. All fours, shoulders stacked above the wrists, hips stacked above the knees, maybe wiggle out the hips just a little. And we'll just begin to take a very simple cat-cow. On an inhale, we'll drop the belly, we'll arch the spine, we'll lift the chin and the hips up toward each other, toward the sky. And then on an exhale, we'll curl the tailbone under, tuck the chin to chest, arch the back up toward the sky. Inhale, coming back into that cow position, lifting up. Take a sip of air and exhale, round. Inhale, lift that tailbone, lift that root chakra space toward the sky, and then exhale, round, tucking it down toward the ground. Really focus on that energetic center today. Feel into that space, even though it's not a physical space. And then on our next inhale, we'll do a regular cow position. And then once we exhale, we'll round and push our hips back toward our heels into a child's pose. From there, on our inhale, we'll push back up. Inhale into a cow, lift the head, lift the hips. And then exhale as we round, bring that tailbone back down to the earth. Stretch out the fingertips. And then follow this motion with your breath for a few more rounds. Inhaling, lift and arch. Exhaling, rounding and pressing down into the earth. Last round here, and then we'll stay in our child's pose for a minute. Exhale, come all the way down, rest the head onto the floor. And sit in whatever child's pose feels good to you. So if the hips are yelling at you, maybe you come up onto a block with the head. And we just press back and work toward that full child's pose. Or maybe we need to press down into the shoulders and really stretch those out. Wherever there's tension, breathe into that space. And really root down with that root chakra space. Hips and tailbone down toward the mat. Remember, you are safe, you are secure, you're grounded, you're rooted, you're connected. One more deep breath in, expanding the rib cage, and exhale it out. And then on an inhale, come back up into all fours. And we'll just take a few warm-up stretches for our flow today. So on our hands and knees, we'll extend our left leg out, pushing the toe pads into the mat. And then we'll drop that heel down so that the sole of our foot is pushing out toward the back of our mat. We'll come up onto the fingertips of the left hand. We'll rotate this right foot a little bit back behind us. And then we'll open up the chest space, open up the arm, so that basically our entire front body is facing the side of the room. Stay here for a moment. Inhale. Exhale it out. Inhale again. And then exhale, we'll plant the hand back down to the mat, bring the knee in, and we'll just switch sides. So we'll extend the right leg out, toe pads reaching down, and then we'll drop that right heel down. We'll rotate the left leg a little bit out to the side so we have our balance. We'll come up onto the fingertips of the right, and then reaching up, facing the entire side of the front body toward the right side of our room. If you're having trouble with balance, maybe untuck the left toes and plant the toe pads on the mat for a little more stability. Inhaling in, and then on our exhale, we'll bring the hand back down. Beautiful. From there, let's just take a couple hip circles, reaching the hips back to the side and forward, just to make in that space in our body. Maybe reverse the circle a bit. Breathing deep. Nice, full, thorough cleansing breaths. And then coming to stillness here. From here, we'll extend our left toes back again. And just push into that heel, giving a nice calf stretch. And awakening the legs a little bit more. And then we'll bring this left knee through our hands and plant the foot in between the fingertips. We can come into a low lunge here and just press into the hips down. Or we can use the knee for a bit of stability and strength. And we'll rotate those hips nice and forward, pointing the hands on the knee, and then start to push the hips forward and down. Keep in mind, if your knee is coming over the toes, to just push it a little bit, walk it forward. We don't want our shin to be in this weird extension, putting stress on our knees. Here, just breathing in, feeling nice and strong and stable and steady. Again, if you need more support, tuck the right toes under. Just a little bit more stability and strength. And then if we like to, we can lift the arms up overhead. And then an exhale brings them back down. From here, we're going to play with a little bit of a low warrior two. So from here, we're going to kind of walk this right foot over to the left side of our mat. So we have a little bit of a turn. And then we're going to turn our entire right side body, or front side body, to the right. You can keep this left hand on the knee, kind of pressing it outwards a little bit, not fully, but just keeping it from sickling in. And then we'll begin to take our right hand onto our right hip and then push it a little bit more towards the side of the room. And then we can begin to open up into our low warrior two by extending the fingertips out towards the front and back of the room. If we need more cushion under the knee, a blanket is a super easy way to create some more padding. Easy to solve that problem. Again, sitting into your warrior two in the low stance. Breathing in, tucking the belly button under, rooting that space for the root chakra down and towards the mat. Noticing where the upper body sits. Is it pushing forward? Is it directly above the hips? Are we leaning back? Are we pushing in or out? Figure out where your body's in space here. And then dropping the hand down, the left hand down on towards the mat. We'll cartwheel the right hand back and forward. And then we'll just frame the foot again. And we'll come into a seated position on our knees back behind us here. Taking a deep breath in, integrating what it felt like to turn our hips open toward the side. Be truthful with yourself. Was that hard? Was that easy? Was it confusing? Did you have some unsure feelings about where your body was in space? And just take this moment to ground down again, connecting to the mat. And from here, we'll just take a quick moment to drop our hands back behind us. Coming onto the fingertips, however feels right for you, and just pressing the hips up and forward, opening up the front of the body. And then on exhale, just sit back down, come back up, and we'll come right into the other side. So we'll walk our hands under our shoulders, our hips are over our knees, and we'll begin with the right side this time. So we'll stretch out that right foot, toe pads on the mat, and pressing into the heel, getting a nice calf stretch. Take a deep breath in, connecting back to the breath, to yourself. And then we'll slowly begin to move that right foot in between the hands, coming into a low lunge on our right side. Maybe you need to wiggle the hips out a little bit, finding more space, and then using both hip points to face forward as you push down, or coming up onto the knee with the hands. Pushing down, but also noticing if we're opening up with the hip. Where are our hips in space? This is a great time to explore how your body tends to move. Beautiful. And then from here, we'll begin to rotate that left foot toward the right side of our mat. And we'll open up our front body to the left side. Keeping that right hand on the knee, making sure you can press it out a little bit, and then bring the left hand onto the left hip, rotating it out just a bit more, and then dropping hips down into our low warrior. Whenever you're ready, you can extend the hands out, fingertips reaching to opposite sides of the room, finding strength and stability here. Again, you can tuck those toes under in the back leg, opening up that space, grounding that down, finding strength and stability through the legs, trusting your body to carry you through this practice. Again, notice where your upper body's at, if you're reaching forward or back, or forward with the chest, or rounding in with the shoulders. Lift up, nice straight spine, and use the legs to do most of the work here. All right, breathing in, and then exhale, reach the right fingertips down inside of the foot. Left arm circles around. And then we frame the foot, untwist that back leg, coming into low lunge. We'll step it back into a child's pose. So just come down all the way. And in this child's pose, I challenge you to walk the fingertips back, arms alongside the legs, and then resting the head down onto the mat. Really ground those hips and sit bones down into the feet. And come back to that intention, that affirmation. I am safe, I am secure. Pressing the forehead into the mat, feel the connection of a lot of parts of your body to the earth. And check in with the breath here. Taking nice full inhales and exhales. Let the shoulder blades push away from each other, dropping toward the shoulders. Let the shoulders relax and the neck and the head. And then bring the hands on either side of your face, right underneath the shoulders, pushing up onto our knees again. Beautiful. From here, take a nice cleansing breath in through the nose and exhale out the mouth. We're just going to walk our hands forward. We're going to press into the palms. So we're going to tuck our toes underneath. We'll lift our hips up into a nice, easy downward dog. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just walk out the legs. Feel the hips release. Press into the hands and the shoulders, nice strong base. And then walk the feet out about as wide as the mat. We're just going to take a nice wide downward dog here. And then press those hips back in space, lengthening out the upper body. And then from there, we'll slowly start to come onto the tippy toes. We'll just walk along the sides of our mat until we come into a wide-ish forward fold. Beautiful. From here, we can sway back and forth. Using this wide stance, really create a lot of grounding with the feet. Notice where your weight is distributing on the feet. Notice how your feet take the brunt of your balance every single day. Be aware if you're pressing weight onto the toes or maybe relaxing back on the heels. Really plant with all four corners of your feet. Inside ball of the foot, outside pinky toe bone, outside heel, inside heel. From here, taking a deep breath in and a long exhale out. And then on our inhale, we'll start to slowly roll up. Hands can come onto the thighs as we press all the way up into a standing position, into our wide-footed mountain pose. From here, I'm going to fix my screen a bit so you can see. From here, we'll take an inhale. We'll reach the arms all the way out and up. And hands can come through heart center, palms touching. Just feel your stance, nice and wide, nice and steady. Again, notice where you're putting your weight, even that weight distribution out. Inhale, reach all the way up again. This time, we'll bring the right fingertips forward, left fingertips back, and we'll just twist the body open toward the left. And inhale, reaching up to center. We'll exhale, twist the body open toward the right. Inhale up. Do that a couple times. Exhale left. Inhale up. Exhale right. Keeping the hips nice and forward. Inhale up. Twisting from the middle of the spine, maybe the belly button. Last round, exhale toward the right. And then inhale up. Hands through heart center. And then for this pose, I'll let you have the option of bringing the feet a little bit closer in. You can bring them toes to touch, or you can bring them just hip distance apart. And we'll slowly begin to sit into a chair. So from here, we'll bend the knees, keeping a nice straight spine, tucking the tailbone under, and then really using the strength of our legs, we'll come into a chair pose. Hands can be anywhere you like. They can be on the hips, reminding to tuck under. They can reach up, which creates a little bit more energy through the upper body. And then realize where your knees are in space. So can you see your toes? Looking down, straight spine, engage through the trunk of the body. Good, and then exhale, fold forward to down. Inhale, halfway lift, pressing the hands into the thigh or shins. Straight, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the feet, rooting all the way down to rise all the way up. Shoulders roll down the back. All right, and then from here, we're going to take a tiny bit of the balance series into our warrior two, full expression of the pose. So we'll ground and root down into our right foot, pressing all of our weight into that right foot. You can come up onto the balls of the left foot. And then we'll just begin to lift that left knee up. Okay, balance, take your time. Really feel rooted and grounded, pressing out of the floor into that entire right leg. Bone stacking upon bone, muscles engaging to the bone. And then maybe we grab onto the outside of this left knee. Taking a deep breath in, exhaling out. And then we'll release that left leg. We'll bring knee to knee as we slowly begin to step this left foot back. And then we'll open it to the side just as we did in our low warrior two. And then we'll begin to bend at the right knee. Again, remembering to push that knee out energetically. Right toes reaching forward, left toes reaching to the side of the room. And then notice where your upper body is in space. So stacking it and then pressing into this right leg. So basically all of our front body should be facing the left. Taking an inhale, maybe reaching the fingertips out, gazing over the right fingertips, looking toward the front of your mat. Feel steady, feel grounded, feel rooted. Your root chakra is pointing down toward the ground. Everything is set up for your root chakra to thrive here. It doesn't matter how far down or how high you are. Just feel the engagement, the strength, the stability of the legs. Beautiful. And then straightening out that right foot, lift the toes up and turn them forward so that they are parallel with the left foot. Good. You can adjust your stance however you need. And then placing the hands on the hips, we can bend at the knees if we'd like, but we're going to bend forward from our hip creases, keeping the upper body nice and flat. And we can reach the hands down to the mat, or maybe we bring a block or a chair or something to provide a little bit of height. And then I can begin to practice straightening and bending the legs. Good. Remembering to breathe. Exhale, folding down. Maybe you take the full expression, legs are straight, tiny micro bend in the knee pits. And then just take this pose however you'd like. Lifting that energetic center up toward the sky, opening that chakra space. Feeling the feet and the hands or elbows, or maybe even head grounded down into this mat, this space, this sacred space. Maybe you want to bend the knees and be a little bit more playful, feeling the strength in the legs. Bending one side and then the other. Maybe you want to wiggle out the hips a little bit. And notice what it feels like to be upside down. With the blood being inverted, trickling down toward our head, giving us the ability to harbor new blood, new energy running through our body. Good. And then from here, we'll press up out of our forward fold. We'll heel toe the feet just a tiny bit closer. And then we'll begin to bend slowly at the knees. And again, if you'd like a block or a pillow or something to provide a little height for you to sit on, we're going to slowly bring that root chakra exact space down onto either your block or hovering above the mat. We'll open up the knees, pressing our elbows. Hands can come to heart center, palms together into our Muladhara yogi squat. If you're having a hard time with the ankles, you can find a blanket or something rolled underneath them to give a little bit more height so that they're not so bent here at the ankles. Make modifications to whatever your body is needing, and if you're not sure what kind of modifications to make, please message me at the end of class and I can help you out with those. If you need to take breaks, just pressing up, rotating the feet, and then coming right back in. Inhale. Exhale. All right. From here, we're going to press up, rotating those heels and feet back to the wide leg forward fold position. Maybe wiggling out the hips a bit, bending the knees, just giving a little bit more space in the body. And then from here, we're going to slowly rotate toward the back of our mats. So we'll come up, standing at a nice wide-legged position. You might want to walk the feet out a little bit more. And we'll rotate this left foot so that the toes are facing the back of our mat. We'll bend at this knee, and then we'll rotate the back foot so that the toes are facing toward the side of the room. Again, in our warrior two position. We'll rotate our hips a little bit more toward the side of the room. We'll remember where that knee is pressing out. And then adjust your stance however is needed. Find that heel to arch alignment in the feet. And when we feel stacked, sturdy, steady, secure, then we can extend the hands out. Looking over the left fingertips. Using the strength and stability of the legs to really feel into this pose. Taking deep breaths in and exhaling out. Good. When we're ready, we'll straighten out this leg and we'll turn the hips a little bit more toward the back of the room. We'll slowly begin to bend the knee on the left side, bring all our weight into the left. And we'll come up, don't worry, I didn't forget. We'll come up onto a bent knee with the right leg. Holding it there, either with the hand or just free. And then slowly we'll relax it down. And we'll take an optional extra chair pose. So either bringing toes to touch or keeping the legs as wide as our hips. We'll slowly begin to sit down into our chair pose, using the legs and the feet as sturdy, stable, secure pillars to hold us here in this chair pose. Tucking that tailbone under, using the strength of the core and the trunk of our bodies. And then whenever we're ready to come out of this, or if we'd like to just continue all the way down with our feet to the mat. Good. I'm just going to scoot a little bit forward so I can face you guys, but you're welcome to stay where you're at. From here, we'll begin to straighten this left leg out. We'll bend this right foot into, bend the left knee with the foot closer to the body. And then we will pull this right foot over top of the left knee, really finding a nice seated position, equal weight on both sides of our legs, or both sides of our sits bones. And then with our right hand, we'll come to create just a little bit of a kickstand here behind us, fingertips nice and tented up. We'll take a deep inhale, reaching the left arm up and creating a nice long line with our spine. We'll turn toward the right, and we'll either tuck this elbow on the outside of the knee, or we can give it a nice hug. Keeping the spine nice and straight, looking over that right shoulder. Nice, gentle, seated twist. And then from there, whenever we're ready, we can just slowly start to tuck the left foot in, and we can rotate the body however we feel needed. You're not confined to your mat. And we'll just sit in a nice, gentle lotus pose. So this right foot should be on top of the left knee. If that's not accessible to you, or if your knee's up here, don't worry about it. Just do a regular cross-legged position. And then with this right leg bent in, we'll bring the sole of the foot to the groin area, or a little bit toward the outside or inside of the left leg. And we'll extend this left leg out toward the back of our mat. Okay. From here, we're going to take a nice gentle side twist. So grabbing onto the ankle with our left hand. Doesn't have to be a full-on grip. It just is kind of where you're going to place your hand. And then we'll reach our right arm up, over as we dip our left shoulder down toward our left leg. Keeping that left leg and left foot nice and engaged. So flexing the toe back toward the head. And if you'd like to make this a little bit more challenging, you can adjust where this left or right leg is. So maybe you plant the foot and the heel close to the bum, and you keep a hold of the ankle with the left hand and drop down. Taking a more advanced version of this pose, setting you up for a few more advanced poses actually. And then whenever you're ready, just begin to extend this right leg out, and we'll come into a wide leg forward fold. Again, seated. So from here, flexing the toes, Maybe we bend the knees a little bit. They don't have to be fully down onto the mat, whatever feels comfortable, but everyone, even if our legs are nice and straight, should be flexing the toes so that we have a tiny micro bend in those knee pits. And then we'll walk our fingertips forward. We'll come down to whatever feels comfortable for us. So sometimes when we're first starting out, we're about here or maybe here. And then as we walk forward and down, you can really feel a little bit more of a release. And then we'll just keep advancing further and further. Using the breath to guide you through, bringing new energy and oxygen to those muscles, allowing them to relax. And again, note where that root chakra is connecting down onto our mat. I am safe, I am secure. Remember that your body is your home. It is the space in which your being walks through this life. Connecting to it just gives you more information and you become more in tune with yourself and others and the universal energy around you. Deep breaths. Allowing the body to fully release, fully relax. And then come up onto the fingertips, pressing that upper body up. And we'll just switch sides with that twist. We'll bring the left foot into the inner thigh here. And then we can grab onto that ankle with our right hand, so the opposite hand. And then we'll dip the right shoulder down, opening up into our Jani Sirsasana. If we'd like to challenge and we have a lot more space in the hips, we can plant this left foot down, keeping the grip on the ankle and then dropping the elbow on the inside of the leg as we open up. I'm really trying, if you're in this position, to root that left hip down. You can kind of pop up and give you a little more space to work with, but then it's not really stretching, you're just pulling your joints out of position. And then coming back up. And we'll just switch sides here. So we'll straighten out this right leg. We'll bring the left foot over across to the other side. We'll reach back with our left hand. We'll reach up with our right, coming nice and straight in the spine. And then again, we can bring the elbow to the outside of the knee and twist, or we can give a nice hug around the knee. Keeping the spine nice and tall, pressing and rooting out of that root chakra, up now into the spine. And there's no need to force this twist. If anything, use the belly button as a propeller instead of the arms. Breathing deeply, settling into this space. After all of this grounding and strengthening work, it's been lovely. And then coming to the front of your mat, you'll extend both legs out, flexing both toes, and maybe wiggle the hips a little bit so you can really feel, or maybe even pulling the fleshy bits out so you can really feel that root space grounded down. And then we'll begin to actually bring the hands behind us, lifting the chest, lifting the heart, tucking the belly button in toward the spine, straightening up and out of the spine. And then from there, we'll let go of the hands, Place our fingertips in the crease of our hips, and we'll fold from that exact spot as we reach down toward our feet. Keeping the feet nice and flexed. If we need to bend the knees at all, feel free. Or maybe you extend the hands out and reach for the toes, but remember, we're not reaching through our back. We're reaching from that hip crease through our hamstrings. I am safe. I am secure. I'm rooted in this present moment. I'm strong and steady. I am connected to my deeper being. All of those have to do with awakening and balancing this root chakra. And then when we're ready, bend at the knees. Maybe we'll scoot our bum a little bit closer to our heels, and we'll roll down onto our backs, bringing the knees tight into the chest. Maybe rocking back and forth, feeling the whole entire spine as the space where all of the chakras run up is through the center of our body, which is our spine. Along the inside of our spine particularly. So allow that whole space to ground down, root down into the mat. And then from here, planting the feet into the mat or the floor. And we'll just wiggle the hips or the knees, windshield wipe them back and forth here. Breathing in, a long cleansing breath out. And feeling completely relaxed as the hips sway side to side. And we'll activate the legs one more time. So keeping the hands planted, I'm just going to change the music because I feel like it's time to settle. We can slowly rock the hips up and down. So as the feet are planted, we'll tuck the tailbone underneath and up toward the backs of the knees and backs of the legs. And we'll feel that sacrum press down into the mat. On an exhale, we'll tuck or untuck the tailbone and press it down into the mat as we feel the sacrum lift up off the mat. And maybe while we're doing this, we untuck the shoulder blades so that the shoulders can open up a bit more. On an inhale, tuck the tailbone under, press that sacrum down. On an exhale, release, tailbone to mat as our whole lower belly area lifts a bit. And then at your own pace, you can go fast or slow, whatever feels nice to you. This is a time for your back to release by connecting and grounding. And then when you feel ready, we'll plant those feet nice and strong. As we activate the feet, we can feel a little bit of a lift in our sacrum again. And as we start to press even more and more, we'll feel the hips rise into just a small bridge. And then we'll drop those hips down, let the tailbone tuck or untuck and reach toward the mat as the belly lifts a little bit. And then we'll press again, feet into the mat, feel the hips rise, and come to whatever extent of this pose feels good to you, activating the legs, strength and stability. All right, and then pressing that tailbone down, lifting the space underneath the sacrum. And then the last time we'll push into this bridge, feet, legs, hips all nice and strong. And we'll roll it back down onto the mat as we bring the knees into the chest once again. Now's the time to find your pillow if you have it. Just make sure it's near you. Make sure it's accessible in the next few poses. And then from here, we'll keep the knees together and we'll slowly start to drop both of the knees over to the right side of the mat. So dropping them down and letting the left shoulder connect into the ground still as we take a gentle spinal twist to the right. Gaze can come over the left fingertips, twisting the entire spine, giving it some more space, some more flexibility, some more ability to activate those chakras as we work on each one of them in the next few weeks. And then on an inhale, bringing the knees back into the chest towards center, back is fully on the mat, and we'll just drop them over to the left side as the right shoulder and right arm ground down onto the mat. Our gaze will be looking over toward the right. And open up this space. Breathing into the rib cage, the side body, the back body. Full deep breaths. And on the next inhale, bring the knees back into center. We have one last pose before Shavasana. So if you'd like to take anything else, now is your time. We'll bring those knees as they open up and splay toward the armpits. And then we'll extend our soles of our feet up toward the sky. We can use our hands to pull on the inside or back side of the thighs, or we can walk the hands up to the ankles, or maybe even grab the inside of the big toe with our fingers. Really feeling the opening of the space for our root chakra. Feeling it activated, feeling it balanced and strong and steady, grounded, safe, and secure. Use the breath to fully release, to fully let go of any tension or worry or withdrawals from anywhere in our being, physical or not. What's wonderful about the chakras is they connect our physical body to our soul. They are kind of the gateway between having physical awareness and soul awareness. And whenever you're ready, you can start to extend the legs. If you have a pillow or even a blanket that's rolled up, place that underneath the knees, like I'm doing with my bolster. And that just gives you a nice feeling of relaxedness. Not so much tension in the hips. We're open, we're vulnerable to receiving. Maybe we even want to widen the legs for this one, for our root chakra to be, again, open. And as you settle into your Shavasana, close the eyes. Again, remind yourself of your sacred space. And just begin to relax the body down into your last final pose. Letting the face completely soften. Letting the space between the eyebrows widen. Letting the jaw hang loose. Dropping the shoulders down into the mat. Opening the collarbone. Feeling the back of the body heavy. Shoulders, ribs, and hips heavy. Taking nice, long, deep breaths. And as we relax, begin to see yourself with connection to your body, connection to your soul, your spirit, your inner self, connection to those that are close to you, family, friends. Ask yourself, how secure do I feel in those relationships and those connections? How secure do I feel with my relationship to nature, to Mother Earth, to myself? Do I need to continue work on this chakra? Do I need to balance it out more? Ask yourself where you're at. Pinpoint where you're at. Set an intention for the work you plan to do. And then fully surrender. Drop into that color red. Let the feeling of that color red wrap around you like a warm, safe blanket. And breathe and surrender. I am safe. I am secure. I am connected to my inner being. You may stay here for as long as you'd like, or if you're ready to come and sit up finishing the practice with me, you may. Taking a deep breath and slowly sighing it out. Reaching the arms overhead, extending the feet nice and long, and stretching full body, extending out the fingers and out the toes. Deep breath in, and then on an exhale, roll over to whatever side feels right today. Just taking a moment to integrate this practice. Whenever you're ready, slowly pushing up into a comfortable seat. Whatever that looks like for you. You can keep the eyes closed. Just taking a few more sacred breaths. From deep within the belly, slowly, gently up. Maybe rub the hands along the knees, along the legs, along the inner thighs, awakening muscles again. And then bringing your hands together, creating a bit of energy and friction. Placing the hands wherever they feel comfortable. Thank you for joining me in this practice. Thank you for allowing me to share with you the energetic properties of the root chakra, how you can move your body and move your mind through balancing this chakra. I am so excited for the rest of the Chakra Series. So we'll be going through each chakra together. There are 7 of them, starting at the base of the spine, rolling all the way up to our crown. And yeah, we'll get to explore what they feel like in our body and what they feel like